you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. It's Thursday evening. It's just gone 7 o'clock. We got some transfer news, views, and clues, and update for you. I hope you can start the show off by doing me a little favor or two. Smash the granny out of the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button as I can hear myself talk. The notification bell and drop a comment throughout the show. Let me know your thoughts on today's show. The title of the show is we're back in. We started talks. We're back in talks. We started talks with Eze. I'm not talking about, by the way, the spurious link that is out there on Twitter, although they might be working from the same thing that I've seen. But I've seen something coming out of Germany, and it just suddenly disappeared, and I can't find it. No love nor money. Nowhere. It was there. It said that Bayern Munich were interested in Eberechi Eze going there, but in all likelihood, it's a long shot, and that Tottenham, have prioritised Eze, and that the talks have begun. The talks between Tottenham and the agent, as we know, CAA base, are the representatives of Eberechi Eze, and that the talks have begun. Its initial stages, Tottenham have no interest in paying £67 million up front, and Crystal Palace on paper have no real interest in doing a deal for another Premier League club. But at the same time, guys, here's the logic, right? If there is interest from Bayern Munich or from elsewhere in Germany, are they going to pay the money that an English club would pay? Because the English club, first and foremost, has a little bit more money generally than other teams, but also they're going to pay up a little bit more because of the English tax. Germany don't benefit from Eberechi Eze's nationality. English clubs do. And Tottenham are looking like they're front and centre. It kind of rings a little bit true, doesn't it, guys? It kind of makes you think, Tottenham, like, where else is he going to go? He's not going to go to Manchester City. They've just paid up, or they're about to pay up for Rayan Cherki, one that seems like it's got away from us. I don't really understand why we didn't put our sort of beak in that one. However, we have to respect the... Do we have to respect it? I think we have to just acknowledge it, at least, that there is a pecking order. And when Manchester City come calling for a player like Rayan Cherki, who doesn't have any love nor relationship with English football just yet, well, they can offer a salary that probably would be difficult to compete with if Cherki's going to be at the top end. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know what sort of salary he's going to get. I'd imagine it'll be healthy. It always is at Manchester City. Plus, they have the benefit of the kind of legacy, right? The amount of trophies that they not only usually win, but they will continue to win. We've got a load of other stories as well for you guys. Let's have a look. Let me just get some stories out of the way. We got some noise out from Paul O'Keefe talking about Tottenham's activity this summer. We have some stories about Xavi Simons. There's still an ongoing link there. I do have the tweet up from this guy, Krish FT, which is obviously just probably nonsense, but I'm guessing he got it from the same area that I saw the other link earlier a couple of hours ago. We got to talk a little bit about Fraser Foster, Alfie Whiteman, Serge Reguilon, all officially leaving the club tomorrow. That's come out from George Sessons. Mark Gahey has been earmarked as the replacement for Romero if we can't hold on to him, according to a Tier 1 Spurs journo, who I think I know who Spurs journo is. I'm not sure he's an ITK, but he certainly knows a thing or two. He's usually not far off the money, and he's earned himself a Tier 1 across Twitter, so we'll talk about a little bit with regards to that. And apparently we're pushing for Eze and Dibbling, according to him. I've spoken to you guys about Dibbling many times. We're going to come back to him in a little while. We've got to talk a little bit about Johnny Cardoso as well, as we have to talk about Leroy Sané, or Sané, as I've now been told on how to pronounce it. We got a little bit more about Christian Romero, Matisse Tell as well, Ben Davies potentially leaving the club, and also an under-16 left-sided defender, Finlay Barnard, who was in our youth academy, who's decided to leave the club and join Aston Villa. Boo! Boo! We don't like Aston Villa. He turned down an offer from Arsenal, believe it or not. So he's obviously highly touted and highly rated. And we got this Matisse Tell story that he is expecting and looking forward to joining Tottenham on a permanent deal this summer. Got to be honest, the more I think about it, the more I think that the money that I'm seeing that's touted and pushed around, I forgot to do it on today's morning walk with Bugsy. I was supposed to talk about that one, and it slipped through my net. But before we get into all that, let's see how everyone's doing in the chat, shall we? Yeah, buy him now. Don't F about. We have the coin. Spend it. No brainer, says Polly. Good to see you. Eze in this squad, when fully fit, guarantees top 4. Says BK. JH says, need to get this done very quickly. He will be crucial for us. John Workman says, I'm not really interested in top 4. I want to win the Premier League. First thing is first, Mr. John Workman. You don't go from 17th to 1st. Although, having said that, I think Leicester City finished the season before they won the league. They finished 15th the year before. So maybe stranger things have happened. Jessica Sovtel is joining. I reckon Richie is off. We've got to talk about that as well. Let's hope this is true, says Kulu's elusive right foot. PH family, big up, Mr. Neutral. Do you believe the rumours that Andrews offered Eze and didn't want him? I just can't believe that myself. I don't know, to be honest, mate. I don't know what believe. Well, I never know what rumours are true. Most of them aren't, right? But it's not going to stop me from bringing them to your attention because rumours have got a room, Ruminate the rumours. Eze Ortel, says Daniel. Eze all day long. Evening, Nick. Art Barlow saying, at least with Richie, you got a truer. A trier, is that? I think that might be trier. Wakey, Sean. I'm in. I'm here. Good to see you, Nolan. Good to see you, Groucho. Too much. Same. Top man, says Ray Chester. As he does it. Evening, Sean, says Aaron. Eze is great. He will fit the system playing off the left-hand side, or does he need that freedom to drift inside? And he'll fit off the left. You can play on the 10 as well, can't he? But then it looks like we might be also trying to sort of shoehorn Wilson Odebear over there. Like we saw some glimpses of Wilson Odebear in the final days of the season. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are, guys, on Wilson Odebear, because I think there's an absolute talent there. I'm not sure if he's a 10. I do remember Sonny saying that he is the most talented or most technically gifted guy on the training ground. I think he's a real player. They just got to keep him fit and see what he can do next year. It'll be interesting to see how he develops. I think there's going to be a real player in there. I really hope. Good potential signing, but can he play right wing? No, you can't play off the right. I don't think as I can play off the right wing. I've never seen him play off there. Looks like Sesko may be going to Arsenal, says Nolan. Oh, £91 million, though. £91 million, Nolan. It's a lot of money for a kid, isn't it? 23 years old. Don't get me wrong. He's a super talented guy, but £91 million. Don't know. Tottenham certainly won't be able to pay that or won't want to pay that. Fabrizio Romano, understand Arsenal started moving initial concrete talk. Oh, there you go. Okay. Romano just put a post out. Yeah. So then Gyökeres is free. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing here? Can you imagine? Because we've got the other news out, right? About Hugo Larsson, Swedish, 21-year-old, 6-ish, 6/8. 8 box to box, but can play a little bit deeper. Big, strong, great player, playmaker, lovely thread of a pass. Imagine bringing him in. Then you got playing alongside his compatriot. Imagine that midfield 3 next season of Decky in the 10, Berghvall in the 8, Larsson in the 6, Gyökeres in the 9. And Ulrika Johnson's in the stand. That's what I'm talking about. I'll find my own little Heidi. Gonna find my own little Heidi high. I'll be all over that, by the way. Season tickets galore. The Swedish middle backbone of our team. That'd be absolutely sensational. Big up, Sean says, no, big up to you, mate. El Dante, heard we bid for Fermin Lopez in the past. I'm guessing that's a piss take. Have we properly signed anyone yet? No. It's early days. Groundhog Day, says Virus Man 2020. Gay, he was pretty much signalled as that after we bid for him in January. Super Spurs, big up Blaney boy. Evening all, big up Sean. I'm hoping your waffle tonight will soothe my sickness. Been shit since Tuesday. It's really silly season and I love it. I'm sorry to hear you're unwell, mate. My waffle is here to soothe. I'm a soothsayer with my waffle-along. That's what I'm going to call my next season's watch-along. They're not a watch-along, it's a waffle-along for now on. Paulinho must be an option. Paulinho or Paulinia? What are you talking about? The 6th from Bayern Munich? Love to see that come. I'd love to see him come in, add some steel. But also, I don't mind Hugo Larsson. Don't mind that at all. Jane, we haven't signed anybody. All feels a bit like deja vu, Sean. Summer signings and Spurs gives me post-traumatic stress disorder. Sorry to hear that. Hope we signed anyone yet, Jane. No, we haven't, Jane. How many times you got to ask, mate? Eze in says, Zane, buy Eze, otherwise teams will pounce. Eze, hell yeah, says Scooter. Good to see you, mate. 55 likes already and counting. So good work, all. Nice start. Thanks to all who have liked already. Good to see near 300 people in here. Yeah, 340 people. Cheeky little hour. And we'll get into it, guys. We'll get into it. Let me say hello to everyone. And he takes Zane too, says Zane Wade. Zane Wade. Sane. How should we say it? Sane? Zane? Waffalong. Exactly, Daniel. Exactly. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Terry Wright, good to see you as well. All reports are saying Tottenham Ange is staying. Let's get up some of the other noise, guys. So there's a player we've been linked with called... in fact, someone brought it up the other day. Someone brought this up the other day. His name is Akilush. Here we go. Magnus Akilush, who plays for Monaco. I forget who it was who brought it up the other day, but Give Me Sport has said, according to a report from Court Offside, Tottenham are one of the sides who are showing an interest in signing Monaco attacking midfielder Akilush, or Akiluche. I don't know how you say it. Or Akliush. I don't know, whatever. The League One outfit could demand in the region of £59 million to allow him to head through the exit door this summer, while the Premier League could be a destination for the 23-year-old. He's made 32 appearances, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 big chances created, key passes 1.6, successful dribbles at 50%, at just over 1.5 per game. Look at the scout report. I have looked at him on the Y Scout tool, and I've got his stats up for you as well. We'll come to it in a second. Akliush has a left foot made of gold, according to talent scout Jacek Kulig, has been described as an insane talent bursting onto the scene in Monaco's first team at the age of 19. The young playmaker has become a key player for the League One outfit this season, so it's no surprise that they are set to demand a hefty fee to allow him to depart. Akliush's versatility can make him a useful option for Postecoglou. The French international plays as an attacking midfielder or winger, and he's a major creative threat in the final third. The 23-year-old produced 10 league goals, yada, yada, yada. So I've taken a look at him on the Y Scout, and I actually thought he looks like a handful. He looks like a real handful. I'm not sure he's the finished article. I think he needs a little bit too much time on the ball. I think he's given that in the French league. He won't be given that in the Premier League. So I'm not sure he's ready just yet. And certainly I wouldn't be paying 50 million quid for him. However, his stats, they are like Jonathan Tah's. We like to see it. As versus attacking midfielders and wingers, he's in the 87th percentile across the 5 leagues, or across the top 5. Was it 5 leagues or 8 leagues? Men's Big 5. For assists. And he's a 75th percentile type of player. If you look down the passing range, though, he's very good. He does look like a really good passer. He's got good vision. I think when he's got that space, he comes deep, likes to turn in the half space, and then looks up and can thread. And he's got men that are running off of him into the channels. And from what I've seen, I think he looks like a really handful little sort of a tricky player. But I just think that my concern for him is, why haven't I heard of him before? Although that's not his fault. That's my fault. Second of all, it's just whether or not he needs a little bit too much time. I don't think he's blessed with an insane pace from what I've seen. And he hasn't got like very quick feet. So, but he is quite a shimmeroo. And I don't mind him. And look, his passing stats are right up there, 80th percentile for basically everything. You look at his goal creations, shot creating actions, 71st percentile. Shot creating actions, fouls drawn. He can draw a foul or two. In fact, 1 every 3 games. Doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But I guess it is if you're comparing it to everybody else. 90th percentile. Goal creating actions from live passes, 1 every other game. Very good. Very, very good. Gets back in defence as well compared to other attacking midfielders. So he's a workhorse. We like workhorses. Look at the touches up there in the 80th percentile. Doesn't fuck about with it, guys. I'm just saying that I don't think that we're going to be spending 45, 50 million quid on a player like him. But do let me know if you guys know what we're doing here. Banu Bryshiniog is saying stats in the French league don't count for much. Well, it's stats against everybody in the top 5 leagues. But yes, they are formatted from his performance in the French league. But he's doing it for Monaco. It's not like he's doing it for PSG. And Monaco are a decent team, not a fantastic team. So we shall see if that continues. But yeah, I don't see anything going there. Sean, how do you feel about Cardoso going to Atleti? Also, would you rather Xavi Simons or Eze? First and foremost, I was very disappointed with Cardoso's second half last night. I missed the first half when apparently he was pretty decent. But in the second half, Chelsea turned it on to another level. and he just absolutely vanished from the game. So disappointing. Johnny's been saying he thinks he's like an every other game type of guy. Like he does well in reports and then he doesn't the next week. And like I say, what I've seen of him when he's on, I think he's a really good player. But for sure, that was a moment there last night to step up and stand and be counted for. And it doesn't look like he really grabbed it. So look, £23 million. It kind of annoys you, right? Because I mean, we're going to talk about like Chelsea going and getting £30 million Liam Delap. That guy's he's going to be 20 goals next season. That's such a fucking shit show. I don't know why Tottenham didn't go after him. I don't know why we never even had a conversation with him. English, homegrown, £30 million for a player like Liam Delap. Chelsea have just absolutely won a mini lottery there, I think. That's absolutely insane. But for me, yeah, Cardoso, 20 million quid. It really depends on what you're trying to do. For what it's worth, though, it looks like he wants to go to Atletico Madrid anyway, and that they're kind of wrapping that deal done up. So and it's weird, though, isn't it? Because, Tottenham had the option, but the deal structure was really strange. It was just that if Tottenham bid 20 million quid or 22 million quid, then Betis have to accept it. But it didn't mean that they couldn't also do deals elsewhere. And it sounds like Johnny Cardoso never really wanted to come to Tottenham. So, no harm, no foul. In other news, though, guys, it also looks like Atletico Madrid, and I'm getting this from a tweet from out in Spain, that Atletico Madrid have had a conversation with Romero, but that they can't afford the £70 million that apparently Tottenham are asking for. Let me see if I can find that for you. Let me share this tab instead. Is that still up there? Can you see it? Oh, it's not on the screen right now, is it? Here we go. So if I get this up and then translate it. Yeah, Atletico Madrid have informed Tottenham they will not meet the €70 million valuation for Christian Romero following initial talks. The Spurs are keen to retain Romero, but the player himself is open to the move. This is from whoever these guys are, 3.3 million followers, and it's Spanish sports thing. So I don't know who they are. I've never seen them or heard them. I don't speak Spanish. So, but yeah, just on that translation, it looks like if there's truth to that, then if Atletico Madrid can't afford him or don't want him, then what happens there? Is that the reason why we're getting some flip-floppery in the Christian Romero news right now? Like there was a couple of stories that say one was saying he's very happy at Tottenham and that he'll try his absolute hardest for Tottenham until the day he leaves the club. But then in a separate thing, he was asked, what does he feel about life in England? He said, my family doesn't really like it here. It's freezing cold. They're locked up all day long at home whilst I'm at work. I don't mind it, but they don't like it. So he wants to go, his family want to go to sunnier climes, and that's fine. It is what it is. But at the same time, just because you want to go or your family wants to go, someone's got to pay up the readies, right? And if Atletico Madrid can't do it, who else could? Is it maybe something that Bayern Munich might look to do? Bayern Munich apparently looking at Mark Gahey tonight or yesterday or today, which isn't a problem if we keep Romero. Then we don't need Eze. We wouldn't go after both Eze and Romero fighting after one spot. I mean, Gahey can play off the left-hand side. And so, you could technically have three top draw centre-backs, top player in Gahey, Van der Ven and Romero, and then when one of them's injured, the other, they just all kind of seamlessly slot in there, and that's not a problem at all. But are we really going to drop that sort of money on Gahey without raising the money from Romero? And then if so, what does that leave for elsewhere? Which is why I was like, well, Cardoso for £20 million, it kind of doesn't sort of sound too horrendous. But if you're offering me Hugo Larsson for £50 million, guys. Or £40 million, sorry, €50 million. Hugo Larsson is a baller. I really like Hugo Larsson. I think he's awesome. Let's have a look at Hugo Larsson's stats, shall we? Let's get it up. Pause. Are his stats are that good? They probably aren't, are they? They make me look in the mud right now. Yeah, his stats look shit. Don't know why I'm showing this. Just goes to show you my that stats and Shawnee's opinion do not always line up. Let's have a look. Shooting stats for Hugo Larsson. Goals per shot ratio for a DM or midfielder. He's a straight midfielder, according to this. Shots on target, 53%, 99th percentile. When he shoots, he gets it where it needs to be. You love to see it. We need a guy who shoots from outside the box. Goals per shot. So let's have a look at that. Let's work this out for me. Every time he shoots, 50% of his shots are on target, and 1 in every 5 of his shots goes in. So it takes him 10 shots to score a goal. That's the math. Get the ball to him 10 times a game, and we're going to go at least 1-0 up. I'm just saying it's science, right? It's science. Goals to shots on target, 1 every 0.4. Not bad. Not bad at all. This is for a midfielder that leans towards defensive. If anything, he's box to box, really. But then look, his passing type doesn't really do too much. GCA is a take-on guy. All these stats suggest that he's a box-to-box player. But as far as I've always thought of it, I think he leans more defensive. But then maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't watch German football like religiously. Successful take-on percentage. It sounds to me like he just picks the ball up deep maybe and then just drives with it, drives into space and takes people on. Doesn't get dispossessed very much at all in the top 91st possession for holds and handles. Look, very, very good player. What's going on here? Go away. Very, very good player. But his passing stats are a little bit average. He's just a driver, isn't he? He's a driver. He's like Tiger Woods. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? How am I getting back to this screen? Here we go. Where are we in today's chat? We're going to carry on talking. We've got a super chat from Blaine Dem. Man, Blaine, you're so generous, buddy. You're so generous. Been loads of rumours in the group chat. I'd like to hear in ranked order and projected spend. Fucking hell. Okay. Your priority positions for the summer, Shawnee. Maybe even a poll. What position chat thinks is a number one? Okay, I can handle that, mate. I can handle that for us. Let's get a poll going, shall we? Let's get a poll. What are we doing here? Give me a second. Let me pull it up. Here we go. Polls keys. Start poll. Number one priority position this summer. Okay, let's go for striker, winger /10, monster 6, other. Then we can work out what other means. Don't put 4 in there. Yeah, monster 6 /CM. There you go. I probably skewed that. I would say though, to answer your question, my man, I would say for me it is. I think like a monster 6. I think we can't go another season without having someone that can sit in front, especially if Ange wants to get back towards some of his style of football that hasn't really worked. I think it might work better if he just plumps like a 6 in there. Just imagine, remember how shit Man City are when they don't have Rodri, right? They're just a different outfit when they haven't got that protection of that 6. And they're a team that tries to play the similar sort of football. So, maybe Ange just needs to shake hands with the fact. I don't know why. When he says, like, I don't even need a 6, he had a 6, right? At Celtic, he had Callum McGregor. So, and Callum McGregor just did that kind of pings a lot and just control the pace and the tempo. I don't know why he thinks he doesn't need it in the Premier League, but he did have it at Celtic, and he's like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. But so yeah, I'll go for a 6, mate. And then I think we have to get some support on the right wing. I think the left wing, we've got enough options. Obviously, you can make the argument that we need help across the entire front 3. And then after that, a fullback. I would even be okay if we went into next season with the centre backs as they are. With Dragusin, I know he's injured, but I think that Danzo's really good. I'm okay. Romero, I love. Van der Ven, I love. Danzo's very good. And then we've got a bunch of young players. Maybe 1 or 2 of them might surprise in pre-season. And so that, to me, is like the last spot. If you sell Romero, obviously, you need to go and replace him for sure. But I think you need a fullback to give a little bit of competition for Pedro Porro. And I think midfield for sure. And then obviously forward, front row, front work. Get rid of Richarlison and go again. Thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Really appreciate it. Was there any other part of the and projected spend? Well, look, if you can go and get like this is not assuming any sales. I think you could go and get a fullback. I think you could go and get like a fullback. There's a couple of fullbacks for free. I think like Ano from Forest, I think is a decent fullback that you could bring in that could compete with Pedro Porro. Kenny Tete is a free transfer. You could go and get in. I think you could go and get one of those two done, and I think that's an improvement on just bringing up a little bit of depth there. In terms of the striker, I think obviously you're going to have to pump. I mean, look, let's talk about that, right? Gyökeres. If Arsenal are going for Benjamin Sesko, and Chelsea have just gone and got Liam Delap, like Liverpool really going to be able to go? Liverpool are looking like they're getting Ekitike for 80 million quid or 85 million euros, 75 million quid. Don't get me wrong, baller, but like, are we maybe in with a sniff here of Gyökeres? Like, Newcastle United, they're going to need to replace Callum Wilson, but they play with a single front man. So are they really going to go and try and get a Gyökeres? If so, what does that mean for Isaac? The Liverpool need to go and get Gyökeres. Chelsea don't need. Man United can't afford Gyökeres, not unless they sell a lot of players. There's an opportunity, and maybe the reason why Arsenal have pivoted towards Sesko is because Arsenal have been told by Gyökeres' team, we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see what's out there. Like, we're not in a rush to make a decision. And Arteta's kind of like, can't fuck this up again. Can't go another season without a 9. If Sesko's ready to go, just go and get it done. I also heard rumours that Bertie, the new CEO, director, whatever, he wanted Gyökeres and Arteta wanted Sesko. So maybe the story there is that Arteta's got his way, as he should, right? Like, it's one thing if you've got a new manager and the director of football is here and it's a long established kind of continuity thing and you're kind of not sure if Arteta's going to be, because if he fails again, then he's out, and then you need. So like, I understand that sometimes you need to listen to the director of football and let them have their way, because they're supposed to. They're supposed to be able to ride out the rocky period with managers and stuff. But when you've been as long at Arsenal as long as Arteta has, and he's come as close as he has, you've got to really lean into what the manager wants, I think, for that sort of decision. No, I think so anyway. So if he wants Sesko and they're going to go and pay 90 million, or what was it, 91 million quid for him? I mean, look, I think that I like Sesko. I think it's class. Daniel Phil with a super chat. Cheers, Dan. Appreciate you, mate. You lovely bellend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate you, mate. Very nice of you. Dan Bowers here is saying Nick Voltamar. Do you know what? I need to look up this fucking guy. I get his name. His name gets dropped to me every day, and I haven't had a chance to look him up properly. Let's look up his stats, shall we? Jesus Christ. Sea of green. Here's Nick Voltamado stats for us. Wowzers. How old is he? He is 23 years old. Plays for Stuttgart. Has he broken through then to replace? Was it El Yawahi or was it Serhu Guirassy? Serhu Guirassy, wasn't it? That was at Stuttgart, and then he went to Leipzig and smashed it in the Champions League. Completely got that one wrong. I remember spending a year telling you lot that Serhu Guirassy was clumsy as fuck, and then he smashes 12 goals in the Champions League this season. Anyway, let's look at him. So 95th percentile for successful take-ons, 99th percentile for attacking penalty area touches. Wow. Goals at 85th percentile. Expected AG. Jesus Christ. Doesn't just like a finisher either, does he? He looks like he's very much involved in all sorts. Pass completion, 71%. Pops it forward. Barely pops it forward. Plays it back. What's he doing? A lot of 1-2 touches, that sort of stuff, is it? Okay. Or 1-2 passes, rather. Pass completion, 80%. 65 on the medium. He's very rare. He's not going to be doing that very often. Yeah, look. I mean, fucking hell. Shot creating actions, 4.5 a game. Jesus Christ. From live. Is he tall? Is he good in the air? Let's have a look. Nah. Have I got the screen up in front of me? I have, yeah. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the super chat. He looks like a monster. I haven't actually looked into him though. He's 6'5" as well, is he? Fucking hell. Why is he so shit in the air then? What? Why is he 6'5" but can't head the thing? Fair enough. Is he like a Peter Crouch type? Is he brilliant with his feet or wand of a foot? But yeah, can't jump for shit. Interesting. I'll go and I'll take a look at him on the Y Scout tomorrow. But yeah, he looks. I'd always meant that I'd take a look, but I never did. Well, there's one there. Well, yeah. I mean, okay, that's interesting. How much is he worth? Actually, let's have a look. Transfer market. Nick Voltemade. He looks a little bit like who was that geezer who had like in the 1990 World Cup, the German, like stereotypical German who had like curly blonde hair and a moustache. Anyone who's old enough will remember. Who played for West Germany in 1990. Looks a little bit like him, doesn't he, in the face? Nick Voltemade, 12 goals and 2 assists in 28 Bundesliga appearances, 5 in 5 in the DFB Pokal. Not much in the way of injuries. Or was he left out of the? He was left out of the Champions League squad. Is that right? He was left out of the Champions League squad. No injuries to note. Looks like he can play a little bit deeper as well as a second striker. He's got 5 goals and 11 playing second striker this season. Interesting. Like to see it. Rudy Voller. Nice one. Yeah, that's it. Voller. He does it a little bit like Rudy Voller, doesn't he? Yeah. Let's have a look. I'll show you. Where was it? Actually, it doesn't do it justice here. How do I share this tab instead? Well done. Oh yeah, there you go. It does look that it's on the screen already. It looks quite a lot like him, doesn't it? Interesting. So yeah, okay. Well, I'll take a look at him. And but yeah, I mean, was there any links to him? Is he going to have a look? Nick Voltemade transfer. Any stories? 8 hours ago, Everton are trying to sign him. Nick Voltemade. So Stuttgart looking to scupper Everton's Nick Voltemade hopes. Is this on the screen right now? Here we go. With a move for Delap looking unlikely, Everton are showing an interest in Nick Voltemade following a strong season in Stuttgart. The Toffees are one of many clubs who are keen on the German giant, but Stuttgart are fighting back. According to Bild, Stuttgart are attempting to secure their striker services with a new and improved deal. The German side are now looking to do everything they can to keep the 23-year-old at the club, with interest coming from the likes of Atletico Madrid. Voltemade is currently one of Stuttgart's lowest earners, but talks could begin soon to quickly rectify that following his strong performances. Everton are still waiting Dominic Calvert-Lewin's decision. If he fucking turns up at Tottenham, if he fucking dares, I will mental. I'll kick Bugsy down the golf course. Yeah, I don't know enough about him, but yeah, Scousers on Harry Enfield, but blonde 100%. Hey, don't they do? Hey. So anyway, is there a chance, guys? Goikarez. Oh, let's get back to that poll. What do we do in the poll here? How's the poll doing? 13% say the priority is a striker. 240 votes. Smash the like, guys. 186 likes. We could be on. I reckon we could be on like 300 likes if you guys got your generosity thumb out. Smash it for me. A winger is the top priority according to 21% of you. 63% say a CM Monster 6. And 4% say other. So yeah, everyone wants a 6. Who's your 6 of choice though? Would you take the fella Hugo Larsson? I'll take him. Again though, he doesn't look like he's much of a. I mean, I always whenever I've seen him, I've always thought he's brilliant at getting the ball deep and then driving forward. But I just always presumed that was more because he was a 6 and picking the ball up. But maybe he's more of a box to box. Shows you what little the fuck I know. Polinia or Edison, says Alex Denison, sorry. He wants Polinia as well. Samuel Ricky. Yeah, I like Samuel Ricky, boy from the lane. He's a quality player. Samuel Ricky's top draw. Top player. Nabil. Who's Nabil? Anyway. So we've done the story about this guy from Monaco, Akliouche. So we'll move on from that one. The next one, Tottenham to reach agreement with Romero as Atletico Madrid ready talks. Or we spoke about that already. That looks like that might be off. What we've done, Levy signs off on 2 eye-catching deals. His third signing takes fresh twist. I'm reading this with you. I'm going to read this with you for the first time. This is from Team Talk, that well-established news journalist integrity-based hub. Tottenham Hotspur reportedly closing in on an impressive double midfield deal as the club push for a significant revamp of their engine room. Is the page open? Oh, sorry, it's not up, is it? Sorry. Here we go. Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly closing in on while doubts continue to surround the future of Ange Postecoglou. Oh, here we go. Same old shit. Johnny Cardoso and Angel Gomez. US international Cardoso is poised to arrive in a £21 million deal. You're late, Team Talk, because that doesn't look like it's happening anymore. Fresh from the Europa Conference League final defeat to Chelsea, Cardoso will give Tottenham's midfield the grit they have been striving for since Postecoglou's arrival. Gomez, meanwhile, will walk away from Lille on a free transfer this summer, and Spurs have been pushing for his signing for some time, along with his former club, Manchester United. The England international has struggled for consistency in France this season after enduring a number of injury issues. Superb. Having notched 8 assists the previous campaign to showcase his talents. Adding both players to Tottenham's midfield mix would certainly give whoever is manager next season better options to pick from as Spurs look to bounce back from a disastrous domestic campaign that saw them finish 17th. And then essentially, this is the story, isn't it? This is the same noise from what he said on the last day of the season, but there's more noise out today. If I've got it here, let me get it up on my Twitter. Here we go. Matisse Tell wants to join Tottenham Hotspur on a permanent basis, according to TBR, the boot room. The boot room, fucking hell. Those guys, mate, when they write an article, it's like you have to read fucking War and Peace before you get to the actual detail. It's like 3,000 words. I remember, I think it was yesterday or the day before. It was like, oh, Messi shows is Messi a secret Tottenham fan or some bollocks. And I opened up the page and it was like, I read for about 7 minutes, all about Messi's past, his history, Tottenham's history, the Europa League, yada, yada, yada. In the end, after about 8 minutes, I finally got to the point where it said that, yeah, Messi just liked Christian Romero's post when he said he was a Europa League champion. I almost punched my screen. So, yeah, Matisse Tell, according to the TBR, wants to join Tottenham on a permanent deal. I told you this one already. Finley Barnard will leave the club and join Aston Villa. Let me know if there's any aficionados of the youth in the chat. And also let me know what you want to do. George Sessions is talking about Ben Davies and that Tottenham are mulling over whether to activate 1-year extension in Ben Davies' contract. If not activated, Davies will be out of contract at the end of June. So this is what annoys me, right? And we're going to talk about Sane next. I'm going to come back to the chat now. I want to get some chat. I want to get involved with you guys. Why is it that Tottenham never seem to know what they want to do before they do it? Why are we mulling over whether to extend Ben Davies' contract? It's the 30th of May in 5 hours' time. And if you're watching this in Australia, then it already is. see you tomorrow in the future. And I'm always in your past. But I don't understand why Tottenham never. Maybe it's not only Tottenham. Maybe other clubs get annoyed by it as well. I'm just always like, why the fuck do we not know whether we want to extend Ben Davies' contract? Why do we have to wait to think about this? Like, what is it that these people are paid to do between January or February the 1st and June? Like, do they not have like contingency plans? Do they not have forecasting meetings? Like, it's the basic A, B's, and C's of any business to sit there and think about what we're doing now and what we're doing tomorrow. Drives me up the fucking wall. We're on holidays, mate. Says, no, yeah, but this is not new information, is it? It's like, oh shit, Ben Davies' contract's up next month. Anyone fancy signing it? Like, come on, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? You know, what do you think about that anyway? What do you think about Ben Davies? What are we doing? Cardoso or Gomez not good enough? Polina not good enough? Had a disaster of a season in Germany. Yeah, but he is good enough, Soul Sniper, mate. He is. Come on, he's a class. Unless he's fallen off of a cliff as he's got older. I don't know, but like, it's the same with Leroy Sané, right? Sané, right? He's got like, what was it? 89 GA in 130 appearances for Manchester City as a winger. Insane numbers. And if we do have a more solid version of Ange Ball next season, that's a little bit more contemplative of the defensive stability and structure, which I hope it will be. This is presuming that he's going to be here, and I think he is, to be honest. And I'm okay with it. I've come to terms with it. You know, I don't hate Ange Postecoglou. I just don't think he's got the tactical depth that I'd like. But at the same time, I don't think there's many other managers that can invoke a team spirit, team talk type thing like he can. I personally see through it, but it doesn't matter whether I see through it. It matters whether the players buy into it, and they clearly do. So we need to let Davies go, says Mike, and replace him immediately. Problem is, Ben Davies is a really good player. He's a really good player. Like, he's not top draw, but he's a 7 out of 10. His ceiling is relatively low. He's never going to like, you know, wow anybody. He's like an average height man walking around in a hobbit house, right? His head's banging on his ceiling quite a lot. I would like Davies to leave, but if they want him to stay, just give him the contract. Stop dilly-dallying. Well, you know what? I want to know what Ash Phillips is about. I want to know what Vuskovic is about. I want to know what Dorrington is about. Because what are we doing with these players? Just hanging on to these players forever, never seemingly having any chance of playing for the first team. If they're no good, sell them. If they are good, give them a chance. And the only way they get a chance is people like Ben Davies vacate. Are you like, we got, you know, Dragassin's out for months, right? So we can just write him off. He's not coming back until Christmas or whatever. So forget about him. You've got 3 centre-backs in Van der Ven, Romero, and Danzo that I think we're all okay with. When Dragassin's back, that's 4, but that's a kick the can thing. Do you need another centre-back, like, to bring someone in? Or is it okay using Dorrington or Phillips as your 4th centre-back, knowing that Dragassin's back in December? And if we can keep Romero, I don't think we need another centre-back. I don't. I'd much rather than spraying the money around, I'd much rather us like focus on smashing the granny out of 1 or 2 particular positions. If Leroy's at Sané's the guy, go and get it done. If you pay him, imagine if Sané was unwanted by Bayern and wanted by Tottenham, but there was no, the contract thing was he was still in contract, right? You'd pay £50 million for a player of his talent for sure. And he'd still want 150, 200 grand a week for sure. So if you can get away with paying him like a £15 million signing fee and £15 million a year, it's still cheaper than what you would do the other way round. And I think he's 29 years old. He's an absolute baller. Like, he is a baller. He's a great finisher. He's handled the Premier League. He's got experience. In the Champions League, he'll turn up and shine. You need people with experience. You need people that have been there and done it. Isn't he the sort of player that Ange is asking for? You know, an experienced head that can kind of level us up a little bit in professionalism, in maturity, in been there and done it. I don't hate that idea at all. I really don't. And I think it's a nice way to trigger the they're finally stepping up into the big boy world of paying the correct money. I don't want to have to pay £80 million for a player and then also pay them 250, 280 a week. If you're paying nothing to Munich and you're getting him for 15, 20 million pound sign-on fee with his agents and all that stuff covered, and then you can pay him 250 grand a week, you can justify it. You can justify it. And there's nobody else at the club that's going to need that sort of money other than Romero. And Romero, fine. If you want to give him a new contract as well, so be it. Sonny's on his way out at the end of the year. So I don't think you need to necessarily reward him because I don't think he's going to play as much. You've immediately elevated your level. You've got everything that Ange wants in a player that can do that right wing thing. And then off the right wing, you've got a guy that can be terrifying with the ball at his feet. Off the left wing, you have maybe Micky Moore, maybe you have Sonny. Sonny, Sarny, and Solanke, not bad. But Sonny, Zane, and Jonathan David, ta-ta-ta. Now we're talking. Now, if you then go and put in your 6, go and get yourself a Hugo or go and get yourself a Polina from Bayern Munich, and suddenly our first 11 is ta-ta. Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Udogie, Romero and Van der Ven, Polina in the 6, Berghvall or maybe Larson or whatever in the 8, in the 10, Maddison or Decky or insert whoever there, and Eze on the left, Sane on the right, Maddison in the 10, and Jonathan David in the 9. That's a fucking 11 that I'm not going into any game thinking we're going to get our asses handed to us here. I'm thinking we've got a chance, and if it doesn't work, we've got options off the bench. I think that that's something to be, like I say, we're not that far away, guys. We're 4 or 5 players. 4 or 5 players. Can I ask, I've got super chat quickly first. Micky Biereth, 24 goals in 2 leagues. Never heard of him, mate. Who is he? Don't know who he is. Let's have a look. Is he a good player? Who's he played for? Micky Biereth. I like the name. Biereth. He plays in Denmark. Is he another Monaco player, is he? Another Monaco player? Yeah. I don't know why we're all looking at Monaco players all of a sudden. I don't know much about Monaco, mate, to be honest. There's obviously a couple of players there that are linked to us, so maybe I should go and do a little bit of digging around. He's ex-Arsenal, apparently, Josh. 100% he is. Big up, Scotty. Good to see you. We can't go into next season with Bissouma, Bentancur, and Sarr running the midfield. They are nowhere near. Yeah, exactly, mate. Go and get 2 midfielders. Go and get Hugo Larson. Go and get yourself. Polina will just be delicious. I just think he just adds so much steel, calms things down. Imagine how much Romero and Van der Ven are going to go if they know they've got Polina in front. And for what it's worth, I said this already, but Ange Ball does not become Ange Ball, the terrifying, open, gaping wound kind of system when you have a 6 that can 6. The problem is that 6s and 8s are sniffing out different things. An 8 sniffs out opportunity. A 6 sniffs out the risk, the threat. Asking Bentancur to play in the 6, the deeper of the 2 mids, to allow Berghvall to progress. Yeah, Berghvall was a beneficiary of it, but Bentancur was terrible. Everyone's saying he was brilliant. He wasn't brilliant. If you watch the game when the ball's not near him, when we have the ball, he was nowhere near touch tight enough to the opposition. And so many times the ball would get played through the guy that he should have been 10 yards closer to. And it's not necessarily his fault because his DNA is an 8. He's not thinking like a 6. Polina doesn't let someone leave his side in that role. Not a chance. And that's what I kind of like about Cardoso. Obviously, he let himself down a little bit yesterday in the second half. So maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's just not of that level yet. But there's elements to his game that I think are super talented. And I love his ability to switch. Moose City. Hello, Moose. Good to see you, mate. Thank you again for your generosity, mate. You're always very kind of you. Who's my dream 6? Let's talk about. Well, I really like Samuel Ricky, right? Let me get up transfer market. Most valuable. Here we go. Share this tab. I mean, I really liked Kone last year. I like João Gomez. We're talking realistic sixes. Obviously, I'd love to get the guy from City, Rodri or whatever, but that's not going to happen, is it? Let's have a look at the. But I really like the idea of Dougie Luiz or Edison as well. They're not sixes, they're eights, but you can bring them in. Obviously, Bruno Guimaraes is never going to come. Moises Kai, can you see that? Is that on the screen? Yeah. You're never going to get Rodri. You're never going to get Castella. You're never going to get Guimaraes. You're never going to get Tchouaméni. You're never going to get Gravenberch. You're never going to. This guy, never going to get him either, although he's class. Zubamendi's just gone to Arsenal. Amadou Onana is nowhere near the 8th best defensive midfielder in the game, although he was on my list last summer. I think he's clumsy. He's a klutz with the ball. He's a big, strong, strapping guy that gobbles up the ground, and he can crunch a player, and he can score a goal, but he is nowhere near the 8th best DM because he's just not good enough passer. He can't do it from deep. He's not a playmaker. He's not that kind of Pirlo kind of style. I'm a big fan of Pavlovic. He was on a... Oh, no, sorry, not Pavlovic. I was thinking of someone else. Who was I thinking of? Who was on a free transfer. He's just signed a new contract, though. Manuel Ugarte. Interesting, right? Like, he hasn't really made it. He didn't have a bad year, but he certainly wasn't the kind of the breakthrough guru that I thought he was going to be. I wonder whether or not that might be an interesting conversation. Like, with Manchester United, because they've still got Casemiro, but is there any chance that they might be interested in letting go of him to raise some funds so they can do what they want? I'd take Ugarte in a heartbeat. Love to see Josh Kimmich. He's 30. He's just signed a 5-year deal, so forget about him. Morten Højlund, we've spoken about him plenty of times at Sporting. Really good player. He's not leaving. I don't think he's leaving Portugal. But yeah, I mean, he's a player we've looked at loads of times. The Danish international's class. Lavia not going anywhere. This guy shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to go and have a conversation. I don't know why he wouldn't want to come back to the Premier League. He can get good money. He's not wanted by Bayern Munich by all accounts. He says he wants to stay and fight for his place, but that's just an ego and a pride thing. I don't know why we can't utilize the relationship with Bayern Munich and say, let's figure out a way to make things work. Also, Angelo Stillo is a class player, absolute class player. I've heard, I did a video on him about 2 or 3 months ago. I think Villa are going to have to sell Kamara, but they're not going to sell him to Tottenham, so we can move on from him. Baliba, Johnny Henry absolutely waxes lyrical about Carlos Baliba. He's going to cost about 70 million quid, though, 65, 70 million quid. He's a really good player, but I don't think, we're going to go after him any way, shape, or form. Is Archie Gray really the 18th best, or at least 18th most valuable? Maybe that's just because of his age and the fact that we paid 35, 40 million for it. This will be a great guy. Kalanoglu, we were linked with him a couple of years ago as well, weren't we? This is the one I like. Samuel Ricky. Class player. Look, CAA base. Torino. I'm pretty sure he came through the Juventus system. How do I find out? I'm pretty sure he was part of the Paratici system. I'm pretty sure he was. Let me get rid of that because that advert's pissing me off. But yeah, Samuel Ricky would be class, mate. He just sits back, sits deep, gobbles things up, and goes for it. Adam Wharton, yeah, but we're not really going to go after Adam Wharton, are we? We're not going to go to Crystal Palace and say, "Hi, Mr. Parish. Any chance that we could possibly have any one of the following: your manager, your centre back, your left winger / creative player?" I mean, even Mateta is up for grabs, or is on a lot of people's lips. Like, Palace is just not going to allow their team to be decimated because they've had one good season. No chance. Mike Chase, I was late logging on, guys. Have you discussed which players we will move on? No, we haven't talked about them yet. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to be going for about an hour and so another 25 minutes, guys. If that's all right. If that's all right with you, and then I'll round off for the night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with Bugsy. Sean, just add the filters. Under 20, no international caps, and under 20 million euros. The Levy filter. Nice. Like that. Richie. Is it Richie? Ricky? I don't. Yeah, I think it's probably Richie, isn't it? Hey, Sean, I'd like us to do a show together. I sent you a mail, but you've yet to respond. Is there any way I can reach out? Where did you email me, mate? What if you want to come on, mate? Listen, I'm always open to new people coming onto the stream and being part of the circular. But I'll be doing a fan phoning show. I might even do one tomorrow night. I've been saying I'm going to do it. I might do one tomorrow night. So anyone who wants to come on, they can get like 10, 15 minutes, depending on how many people want to come on. First come, first served. Members first, though. Members get the first crack, and then non-members get the links secondarily. And then if you seem like a good guy or a good girl, I'm not sure where you're from, then if we can talk about other appearances after that. Spurs Talk Show email. What's my email? Yeah, Spurs Talk Show at proton.me, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't logged into that email for a while, mate. So if you have, then I apologise. I'll get back to you. But yeah, just look out for the fan phoning show, mate. That's the best way to start. Eze for the win, says Aslan. Sane is a class act, says Shane. Guys, what we in equally class act of you. There's 700 people here. If you can smash the like, if you enjoy the content, it really does help the channel find new Tottenham fans. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Daily content twice a day. We do a live stream in the evening, and we do a Bugsy walk in the morning with whatever's going on in the world. Rob Hotspur, I used to think you were a twat, but you are okay, actually, Sean. Appreciate that, mate. Everyone thinks something of me. It's amazing. I did I was supposed to be doing a one-on-one debate with Sim yesterday, right? About the Ange in, Ange out thing. And I spoke to Johnny, and Johnny was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing a debate." He goes, "Oh, I'll come on." I said, "Oh, okay, fair enough." And then just because I didn't want to make it like 2 versus 1, I decided that I'd try my best to stay impartial, and I'd let them two be like the Ange in, Ange out thing. And I think I was pretty much I didn't say anything really, apart from just asking questions for the first, or for 90% of the show. The last 10 minutes, I probably like chimed in a little bit and gave Sim a little bit of why I think he was wrong on some of the things. I wake up this morning, all of the comments are like, "Sean, you're an utter disgrace. You absolute prick. You fat this." And I didn't say anything. It wasn't my debate. For some reason, everyone comes after me. Sim battered both of us, says Parker. Did he? Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. That's what you think. I probably like to have a crack at Sim on a one-on-one, because I don't think that Johnny gave the argument as in the same way I would have done. I'm not saying he did a bad job, but I think that there's a way to debate Sim. You don't get sucked in. Although I did get sucked in. I think he got a gotcha on me at the end there. But you double team Porro Sim. Only in the last 5 minutes. For the first 50 minutes, I was sitting on my hands, biting my tongue. I wanted to get stuck in. So yeah, I'd like to have a crack at Sim on that one. But it was good fun anyway. It's all a bit of fun, isn't it? So yeah, anyway, Eze's in. So Eze's apparently the conversation is started with him. We've done the story about Monaco's Magnus Akliouche, so I can get rid of that. We've done the story about Romero. Atletico Madrid apparently haven't got the money for Romero anymore, so he might be staying. Matisse Tell wants to be a part of the football club going forward. There's another couple of stories here for you guys. The story out of the Daily Mail is that Daniel Levy is open to letting Sonny go to... let's get this up for you. Let's get it up. Pause. Here we go. This is from the Daily Mail. As reported by The Sun, in fact, Heung Min could be allowed to leave Tottenham for Saudi Arabia. The captain of the club, Son, has been at Tottenham for almost a decade. He's got 1 year remaining in his contract. There's interest in Son from the Saudi Pro League. I think that makes so much sense. And again, people are going to go, "Sean, you fucking cunt." Oh, there you go. Just killed my monetization. Damn it! What am I doing? I think that people always have a crack at me because they think I'm like trying to sell their favorite player. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, at some point you have to sunset the story, right? At some point, whether it's now, next year, or 2 years' time, at some point, Sonny will have kicked his last ball for Tottenham. And I just think that at some point, there's a nice way to sunset the story. Like, he's been captain of the club. He's been here 10 years. He was patient. He was loyal. He waited. He won the cup. What better time than to go, all right, I think it's now time. I'll go off to Saudi Arabia and I will take with me, like, I'll fill up those stadiums because those stadiums are empty, and he could fill them up with South Korean fans. do so much for Saudi Arabian football. He could earn generational wealth. You're talking like $1 million a week or whatever for him. Like generate like lifetimes, generations of his family will be fine forevermore. I know he doesn't need money, but like there's levels to the wealth game, and whilst he's very wealthy, he could be obscenely wealthy in the Ronaldo category if he wanted to be. And Tottenham could pick up 50 million quid, which you're not going to get from anyone else for that sort of player at that sort of age. And it just makes a ton of sense. And then Tottenham can go again. At some point, you got to do it. And what's the worst thing I'd hate to happen is to see Sonny's decline like amplify, and then for him to be remembered in 2 years' time for the version of him that he might become, rather than the version of him that we love. Like if he left now, he'll be forever a legend. He'll be forever a hero, and the nicest guy who got his trophy. You know, like the boy next door who finally got his girl, the 10 out of 10 rock star, and they all lived happily ever after. Like that sort of story doesn't have to go that way. It could turn out like Hugo Lloris if he stays too long and it just falls apart. I'm not advocating his sale for any other reason other than it's a brilliant way to say goodbye, which has to happen at some point. It's a perfect goodbye for Sonny, says Nico. So I'm glad you agree. Maybe give Son till Jan to see how he does under a new manager if Ange gets sacked, says Glug. Glug. Glug, 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 glug. My type of guy. In my opinion, Son won't go until Yang's with the first team, says Terry. Here's a story for you. Here's a conversation for you. Right. So if we are looking for a potential centre-back, and if Gahey does go to Bayern Munich, any potential links with Kim Min-jae going to re-emerge, people? Anyone think maybe Kim Min-jae might be back and the stories might heat up? He's had a shocking year. I know he's got a bit of injury proneness, hasn't he? But the Korean market, I don't think he's quite as sexy as to the Koreans as Sonny is. But, Daniel Levy must look at that Korean won and think, I don't mind that. So, Adrian, good to see you, mate. We need Son's experience next season. That's a good point. Not a bad point. Kim Min-jae, interesting, says Terry. Yeah, I can just see something happening there, right? Another Bayern Munich link. The only relationship, it's the only bridge that Daniel Levy hasn't really burnt, is it, in football? Shane, Sonny's on 10 million a year. No thanks to Kim Min-jae. I see PSG have set up a Bitcoin treasury reserve. Is that right? I tell you what, Paul Van Beek, you've just given me a new story for Sean Butler TV. Football finance. I know a little bit about Bitcoin. I know a little bit about football. I know a little bit about finance. So let's go and stick out a video about that. I have to go and read about that. That's interesting. Actually, not a bad idea, is it? That'd be a good idea for us. Yeah. I don't think Daniel Levy likes the risk of like nothing safe as houses. Well, Bitcoin, even though it's proven to be the best investment that you could have possibly invested in over the last 10 years by a country mile, I don't think he's the sort of guy that would buy Bitcoin at the top or the current top. He has a great relationship with Sporting Lisbon with Porro and Marcus Edwards money coming in this summer. Yeah, we're only getting about 3 million quid out of the Marcus Edwards deal, aren't we? Not a lot. Levy offered Delap 100 Bitcoins as wages. That's a lot of money, mate. 100 Bitcoins is a lot of money. That's a lot of money, Is it? Oh, how much is a Bitcoin? I forget. It's about £100,000 or something, isn't it? Big up daily uploads. I just joined. Is there talks with Eze? Apparently so, yeah. So I'm not basing it off of. I think. Let me get it back up just so I can show you. I'm not basing it off of this, but I think this guy is basing it off the same thing that I saw. Where is he? Here we go. So this guy, Krish, that's been retweeted and all that stuff. I think this is, I don't know who he is. He's got 25,000 followers. I don't know if he's any football transfer info. He's not a journalist, just an average guy with good sources, whatever. But I think he might have read what I've read. I read something in German earlier on, and I can't find it anymore. I don't know why. I can't find it anywhere. But sources suggest official talks have taken place between Eze's camp and Tottenham Hotspur regarding a potential move this summer confirmed. Eze is one of the names on Tottenham Hotspur's list to reinforce the attacking positions. However, he is not the only option, with other names also discussed. Nothing advanced or done as of today. Sources suggest talks were only to discuss Eze's interest in a potential move to Tottenham and details requirements of a potential deal. Tottenham Hotspur have good contacts with Eze's camp, yada, yada, yada. Crystal Palace are not interested in selling Eze, but there's a release clause. So there's nothing really here, but that's not like, I think he's just basing it off of what I saw earlier. But like I said, I've looked everywhere and I can't find it. And it's like it's just vanished from the internet. Maybe whoever put out that other video, the other story. I look at so many articles all day long that I forget, and I clear my history quite regularly. So it's disappeared, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the story. This is a story here as well. Where's this one? This is more of a thing. Would you choose Eze or Xavi Simons? I'll tell you what, Simons is a fucking baller. He's a baller. And he can play a little bit more everywhere than Eze. I don't see Eze playing off the right. I can only see him really playing in the 10 or off the left. And even off the left, is he really going to fit the Ange system where you want the left winger and the right winger to be essentially touchline huggers and to drive into the byline and then whip it back, all that stuff? Again, this is presuming that we've got Ange. This is also presuming that Ange continues in his style of football. I would hope that if Ange is going to be here, that he at least acknowledges that there's more than one way to skin a cat and that the Europa League is proof of it and that he can adapt. I'm sure a guy of his level of experience knows that there's more than one way to play football. He just happens to have lent into that one version because it's always worked where he's been. But now you're at the bigger table. Maybe he needs to start going into, find that ace up his sleeve occasionally a little bit more, find a little bit of dynamism to his tactics, because if he doesn't, then I feel like next season will be much like this one, and I can't tolerate that. Another one. Paul O'Keefe saying Tottenham will be active this summer. It's about that. It's kind of like the. I mean, you'd hope so. Apparently, Daniel Levy's got a dog, so he's going to be out. He's going to be out and about on the golf course in Addlestone, in Weybridge. Well keen for Edison, says Jack Lane. Yeah, he'd be class. Bayern Munich already signed Joe Natar. They did, yeah. That pissed me off. He's another one I wanted. Jack Grealish to Spurs says, see, anyone think this could be a signing? Pep doesn't fancy him. I don't fancy him. Do you really want Jack Grealish? He's just, the only thing he's very good at is winning a free kick, which is useful if you've got people that can head the ball, but we don't really. We don't score very many goals from aerial threats anyway. I think he scored 17 goals in 160 appearances for Villa, for City. It's a dog shit return for a £100 million guy. I just think that ever since that guy won his Champions League and got that final medal to put in his locker, that after that, he somewhat put his feet up a little bit. And on that basis, I'm just like, I don't want to give that guy the club's highest earner award. I'm sorry, not for me. Super chat from Sonam. Thank you, Sonam. Appreciate you, mate. Arsenal started talking with Sesko, so Gyökeres. Anyone? What do you think of Rodrigo? Too much. Well, Rodrigo's not coming to Tottenham, but Gyökeres, I don't think he's coming to Tottenham either. But I'm just sitting there thinking, well, where's the merry-go-round going to take it, right? If Chelsea went for Liam Delap, and maybe they went too soon, because maybe they could have got Gyökeres. If Arsenal were going after Sesko, where's Gyökeres going to go? Where's he going to go? Respect Ange. He won you a trophy. I do respect him. Doesn't mean I have to gobble up his bollocks, though. And like I say, I'm happy. If he stays, I'll get behind him. But you won't catch me falling in love with his pre-match press conferences, because I see through it. Once you go through the Overton window, you can't come back the other side. It's just the way it works in my life, in my mind anyway. Gyökeres for 55. But thank you for the super chat, Sonam. And it's an interesting take, mate. I sit there and I wonder now. I don't think we could have got Sesko, certainly not 91 million. 60 million for Gyökeres? It's not bad, is it? And we got that. Where he's at. Let's have a look at the stories here. Giants rival Arsenal for Gyökeres. We've got a relationship with Sporting, right? Somewhat of a relationship with Sporting. I mean, he's a difficult guy to deal with, but we do have that relationship. and we have money to spend, and we've got titles, and we're in the Champions League, and he's got London, and we've got the best stadium, and we've got his compatriots, right? He's mates with Decky, he's mates with... Imagine if you went and got... I said this earlier. Go and get Hugo Larsson. Go and get me Hugo Larsson. Go and get me Gyökeres, and then you have a fucking Swedish spine. You know what I mean? Viking fucking Tottenham. Tottenham Vikings. And the Minnesota Vikings, I think, are coming over to Tottenham in the NFL, aren't they? Isn't it a bit of a match made in heaven, people? You know what I mean? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Gyökeres, Berghvall, and Kula. Yeah, and like I say, and also the fucking... And also... and you got Ulrika Johnson in the bath. Not bad. Not bad. Most of you probably don't know who Ulrika Johnson is. What's happening with Jonathan David? I think he's another one that's just taking his time, waiting to see. They're all on their holidays, aren't they, right now? Helga in the 6. I'm going to have to create a thumbnail for tomorrow's video, pitching the Swedish Mafia, the Swedish House Mafia coming home. Can anyone think of a Swedish House Mafia song? We can all sing it. And that's the same song we always sing. 4x4. Ulrika Johnson. Fire. Is that a picture of a cucumber sliced? What is that emoji? Sliced cucumber. Ulrika's getting on a bit. Yeah. She is, yeah. Ulrika, cut. Daniel Field, you're Swedish, aren't you, mate? Or are you Danish? Then we watch all the Swedish girls at the stadium in a coma. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. 100%. Helga only cost the text back. She didn't text me back. I hate her. I miss her so much. Jonathan David going to Napoli. Not yet, Philip. Not yet, mate. Not yet. Oh, you're English. You're English, are you? I thought you were Swedish. My bad. Who's there? Someone else then? Someone else called Daniel that's got a similar name to you. Don't forget Bojo as well, Sean. Another Swede. Everyone stirred porridge in Ulrika. Yeah, like soup down there. Like cauliflower soup. Oh, wow. Sean, smooth talking Swedish beauties. I wish. There's another one. Osimhen. What are we doing here, right? Where's he going to go? Where's he going to end up? He's not going to end up in Italy. He's not going to go back to Italy, right? No one in Germany is going to be able to afford him that would need him or would like him, unless he goes to replace Sesko. But even then, that's a stretch. If Liverpool go and get Ekitike, like the only English club that I would have thought that would have been an obvious fit for Osimhen was Chelsea. And Chelsea have just signed Liam Delap. I just wonder whether Chelsea have jumped the gun here. I know it's an amazing deal. Don't get me wrong. £30 million. He's a cracking player. I think I'm going to have a bet immediately that he'll be up 20 goals next season. He'll be a threat for maybe even, outside chance of golden boot. Like super random thing to say. But if you've got Cole Palmer feeding you balls and he can win those aerial threats the way he can, then I really think there'll be a good threat. And £30 million, you can't snip at it. But there's a couple, it's actually quite a wet market for the strikers this summer. And there's not that many major teams that are looking, right? Newcastle only play with one sort of top front man, the two wingers. Unless they make room, are they going to go and get another one to sit and play second fiddle? I don't think so. Tottenham, if you can sell Richarlison, there's a chance here for Tottenham to go and get either Jonathan David, an outside chance of Gyökeres. Would Osimhen go to Tottenham? I would have said no way in a million years 3 weeks ago. But now we're back in the Champions League. Now we're Europa Cup winners. Suddenly the stench of Tottenham's Spursiness is no longer around. We've had a wash. We finally had a wash. And I wonder whether or not that clean, a little bit of aftershave, maybe we can twerk a little bit for someone like, I don't know, even if you want Osimhen, I don't know. I think he's a great player. He'd certainly be ahead of anyone else. And he's fast, he's talented, he's technical. He can score goals for fun. I think he would absolutely suit the Premier League. You know, he doesn't need much time. He doesn't need to think and like hold on to the ball or anything. Francis is saying his salary demands it's a no from Levy. Possibly. Richie wants to stay. I know he does. He's a right fucking cock block, isn't he, Richie? For 2 seasons. Look, I love you, Richie, mate, but I'm trying to get laid here, bro. Can you go and like, can you go to McDonald's and pick us up a fucking shake or something? Like, I need half an hour with this bird. And he's just like, he's that cock block, isn't he? He's just like, he just doesn't want you to have any time alone with your girl. You know, he won't get out of the way, will he? He won't get out of the way. Wages, Sean, behave. Mate, we've got to break the wage structure at some point, Mr. Randall. At some point we have to. At some point we have to. Jonathan David isn't going to Napoli just yet. Like, that story's been out there, but he's also thinking about Tottenham. Santiago Jimenez. Well, he's at Milan, isn't he? He's at Milan. He'll be a baller, by the way. I was right about him. I've been wrong about a couple, but I was right about him. He'll watch this space. He'll be a baller. $200,000 per week for Osman. I think that's doable. If Richie stays, can we also keep Werner? Timo fucking Werner. Forgot about him. Why is there no talk from the big clubs about Gyökeres? About Santiago. He's only just joined, mate. He's been there for about 2 months, 3 months. Give him a chance. Difficult to acclimate. He'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. He's a baller for sure. Santiago Jimenez will be a monster, in my opinion. Ulrika's still worth a quickie. I would. I certainly would. Definitely. Sean, if it's all right, could you possibly break down the transfer window budget and factor in sales and incomings? Unless you've done one already. I mean, it's all very speculative, isn't it? We can start with how much we can raise for outgoings. I think Bissouma, you probably get 15 million for. I think you could probably get 20 million for Richalison. Go back to Everton. Oh, don't let me forget Jared Brantwaite. There's another one we could possibly look at if there was some double deal going on there. Because Manuel Solomon as well, apparently he's linked with Everton. I think Manuel Solomon would do really well at Everton. I think Everton are the perfect club for him. I think that they sit in very tight and deep, and then they could just break and counter. And I think he'd be a player that would have space to run into, because most teams are knocking on the door to always break Everton down, and then Everton break quick. And I think Solomon would be really good. I think that would be the right litmus test for Manuel Solomon. So if you could get 15 million quid for him, 20 for Richarlison, that's 30. This is all obviously hypothetical, presuming that any of them want to go, and the bids are all there. But there's 35. You could get 15 for Bissouma. There's 50. Who else are we looking to sell? Well, Romero doesn't look like he's going. Bentancur, maybe. I think you could get 20 for Bentancur, maybe 25 for Bentancur. So there's 75. I don't think Bentancur will go, but there's 75 if you were to go in that direction. Then you would need a 6 and an 8, right? And if you were to go and get a 6 and an 8, let's say you could go and get someone like Hugo Larsson or Morten Højlund from Sporting, or Samuel Richie, or Polina, whatever. But yeah, there's 70 million quid there. If you sell Sonny, I don't think you will, but if you did sell Sonny to Saudi, there's another 50, 45, 50. I don't think he's going to go, but there's 120. Like, you could easily, like, we've got players to sell. Plus, you can sell. I think we're still owed money on the Højbjerg deal. We're still owed money on Lo Celso. You might be able to sell Veliz. Like, there's a load of players, and also some of these youth players, right? Like, finally, I think we're also getting £3 million for Marcus Edwards. If Troy Parrott was to leave, Troy Parrott's wanted for like 25 million quid, right? Because of his breakout season in Holland, and we get 25% of that. If Cardoso doesn't come to Tottenham and he goes to Atletico for 25 million, we get 30% of that. So there's a lot of money that we can recoup here from selling some players that we don't really want. I think we could have a window without breaking too much sweat, where we raise maybe like 70, 80, 90 million quid. And then on top of that, right, we've got the Super Cup, where you get £7 million just for participating, £15 million if you win it. As I said, we've got the money coming in. We've got double the amount of non-match day events next year. Champions League revenue. We fucked up on the merit money from the Premier League, but we made about 32 million quid from the Europa League. You're probably going to get, like, just as a round estimate, you can expect somewhere between 80 and 120 million from the Champions League, depending. If you shit the bed and you do okay, but you don't qualify, you can make probably like 65 from the competition, and then another sort of 25, 30 from the various commercial aspects, the sponsorships, the match day, the beers, the TV money, all that stuff. And if you do well and you get to like the semi or the quarterfinals, I mean, if Tottenham got to the quarterfinals, then that's a monster. On top of all the other things that we're doing, someone said in the chat there, sorry, I'll kick myself out for a second. Someone said, yeah, record. Here we go. AJ Catch, club record revenue coming 24, 25. Or it'll be 25, 26. Yeah. But just remember, right, that so when our accounts came out in February, that was from last year when we had the fewest games in the club's history in the Premier League era. And it was only 5% down on revenue from the year before. And the year before, we were in the Champions League and got to the quarterfinals, where Conte tried to defend a 1-goal deficit. And we didn't have anywhere near as many non-match day events. So Daniel Levy's commercial acumen is just like kept the club up when you've got like a really good year in terms of footballing outcomes to the worst year possible. So this year we're back up with the Europa League, but then it's kind of netting itself off because the Premier League merits were shit. But next year is going to be a fucking blowout year, but that won't be recognised in the accounts until the year after. So we won't hear about that until like February 27. But yeah, that will be like next year will be a record revenue for sure. And so Daniel Levy can't fuck around. He can't fuck around. He has to forecast, front run, because there's an opportunity right now. I've said it so many times. Right, you can't waste these moments when you've got Aston Villa that have been pushing the boat out and going too hard, and then banked everything on the fact they're in the Champions League. And now that they're not, what they're going to have to do to get themselves the right side of PSR and FFP is, they've got to get themselves down to 70%. They have to get their threshold because they're in Europe, right? They're in Europe for a third. They're not in the Champions League, but they're still in UEFA, and that's the third year in a row. So they have to get to a 70% threshold, and they're at 96% last year. It's madness. It's a big reduction in cost, but that comes from a relatively lower revenue number. So the way that they can easily do that is just get either, sell their left hand to their right hand and loan it back, like with the women's team. As I said before, I did a video about this. West Ham United are likely to do that with regards to their women's team. The husband of Serena Williams just bought an 8% stake in Chelsea's women's team, valuing their club, the women's club, at £245 million, which is 20 times more than what the club made last year. And once that sets the precedent in the market, then everybody can raise their own valuations by the same amount. And so there's nothing, like, no one would sort of bat an eyelid if Aston Villa go and, if their owners have like a third party company that buys Aston Villa's women's team for whatever 20 times the revenue that Aston Villa's women's teams made last year. West Ham will do the same. So that's one mechanism for them to get around it. And also they're just going to get, like, if Emi Martinez wants to go to Saudi Arabia for his final payday, if Bailey does, then their friends in Saudi Arabia will just go and buy them out, like they did with John Duran, which was a fucking disgrace. But you can't like, fight the system. You can be pissed off by it, but you just have to shake hands with it. And it is what it is. And all clubs and agents hate dealing with Levy. Yeah. Are you talking to Joshua? Is Eric Dyer on loan at Bayern, or did they sign him? They took him for 1 year, and he's now left and he's gone to Monaco. Levy's never going to push the boat out only for another one season wonder or someone on cheap wages. You might be right, Shane. You might be right, mate. But like I always live in it's the hope that kills you. I just hope that Daniel Levy, of all people, felt something when we lifted that cup. We all felt something, right? We all got a buzz that we haven't had for a long time. And Daniel Levy's not a robot, right? So I hope that he felt it too and wants more of it. It's over to him. Over to him now. Like financials can't be an excuse. Cash flow is a relevant issue. We might well have cash flow issues, but that's temporary. And you can overcome temporary cash flow issues by pushing money around on a bit of paper. We have 300 million quid sat in cash reserves in subsidiary accounts in one of the 14 subsidiaries of Tottenham Hotspur Limited. So that might all be allocated for projects for this, that, and the other. And I'm sure it is. But rob Peter to pay Paul for the moment because you've got that cash coming in later. And when they'll point to this notion that we still owe £260 million in player purchases. Yeah, but those things are amortized for years to come. And also we are owed money in player trading as well from like the likes of Harry Kane. Every club owes money for what they've done in the last couple of years. So Daniel Levy shouldn't treat the fans like they're idiots, because if he does, I'll be here to bring it to your attention and its truth. I'm not here trying to defend Daniel Levy. People think I do always defend him. I don't. I just see it. I see stuff that maybe other people don't, or I look at things from a different angle. But I criticize Daniel Levy all the time. If you watch my channel, you know that I do. But like, if you're an extremist on any view, then someone who's a centrist will look like they are the opposite to you. But I'm not. I'm just someone that will tell you how it is. And if Daniel Levy fucks this up, or if Daniel Levy tries to like pull a charade, I'll let you know. I'm not. I don't care whether like Daniel Levy's in the good graces or the bad graces of the fan base. It is what it is. So if I can find out the information and he's hiding behind some mistruths or half truths or whatever, I'll let you guys know. But no, you see through Ange and Levy ball. Yeah. So I try. Well, I mean, I don't. I think that Ange Postecoglou is obviously deserving of the credit that he gets for the trophy. I personally just think that the credit that's the gravitas associated with the Europa League far exceeds the challenge that it takes to win it. And I think you'll see next year that Aston Villa will probably win the trophy as well, because it's just not that difficult to win. Yet it's considered the third biggest trophy that Tottenham can win. So, it is what it is. Fair play. Matthew Ball. It's unlikely, Sean, but are Spurs waiting for Simone Inzaghi to win the Champions League before he's going to Saudi, I think. I heard he's getting paid 25 million quid a year for a Saudi gig. Good money if you can get it. I spoke to my dad today, right? And he's obviously he's a massive Tottenham fan, but he's not like glued to the world of Tottenham like I am every day. And I said, what do you think about Ange? And to be honest, he's been calling him a bullshit artist for like months and months and months. Like he's been saying he saw through it like last year. And I said, do you think he stays? He said, probably. I don't think he should, but he probably will, because it probably behooves Daniel Levy to lean that way rather than making a decision to sack him, bring in someone else, and then if that doesn't work out, I think I said the same thing to you, right? Like it's easier for Daniel Levy's PR to give Ange Postecoglou the start of the season, because if Ange gets it right, then Daniel Levy continues to get a pat on the back for backing his guy. If Ange gets it wrong, at least he can hide behind, well, how could I sack a guy that won us the trophy? Whereas if he goes and gets someone else in and that guy gets it right, well, okay, good. It couldn't have been much worse than Ange. But if he gets it wrong, then those people that are Ange will go, why the fuck did you sack the one winning manager that we have? And then the heat's back on him. In fact, I think my dad said that Daniel Levy's damned either way, right? Like it's always going to come back to Levy. And either way, there's always going to be people that are unhappy with him. That's just the kind of the role that he takes, which I agree with. But I said, Dad, what manager would you want? And he went, I don't know if my dad was just being tongue in cheek or what. And he goes, if we're thinking about really putting the boat out here, if we're thinking about spending like 15, 20 million pound a year on Leroy Sané. Like, why couldn't you go and like make an offer that a certain manager couldn't refuse, like a Jurgen Klopp? I was like, oh, he's never going to come to Tottenham, is he? He goes like, if you pay him enough money, he'll come to Tottenham. I don't know. I think there's no chance. My dad was like, look, if you pay him 25 million pound a year, he'd come to Tottenham, wouldn't he? And what's 25 million pound a year, right? Like you pay that, we fucking, we paid that we paid half of that on Timo Werner. So like, well, I mean, I think my dad's just like dream world stuff here. I don't think he'd come back. I don't think he'd ever come back to the Premier League unless it was for Liverpool. I personally think that. But like, do you think there's any chance that you could convince a man like Jurgen Klopp to come to Tottenham? Let me know in the chat. 750 people here, guys. Smash the like. I really appreciate you stopping by and enjoying your Thursday night with me. Smash the subscribe if you haven't already. How are we doing on those numbers? What are we up to? 400 likes. Can we get to 500 likes? Is that too much to ask? Let's try and get to 400 first. We're at 380. Smash to get to 400, guys. 64% of you want a 6. 20%, 18% want a winger, and 14% want a striker. It's the 6, isn't it? The 6 is all encompassing, isn't it? We have to get a 6. Most important position. Yeah, Samuel Ricky. He's my boy. I really like him. Let me know if you guys have watched him. What's saying? Klopp said he wouldn't manage another English team. Oh, there you go. Okay, fair enough. Oh, fair enough. I didn't know that. Okay. I hope Levy and the board realise that too. Tottenham fan base is big and mostly untapped. Investing into the team and keeping us in the upper echelon is the best move for bigger brand for more revenue. We got more chance of signing a horse called Clippity Clop. Fair enough. Finn, you're upset. He won you a trophy. I get it, says Billy. Mate, what is this? This is such a weird take. Obviously, that's not true, is it? Obviously, no one's upset. Everyone's allowed an opinion on the manager. Whether like deep down, Billy, are you Australian, Billy? Let me know. You're Australian. Like, if you are, is your love of Ange because he's like? Are you, just be honest with you? Be honest with us. Be honest. Are you slightly biased because he's your boy? And it's okay if you are. It's totally okay if you are. Like if I was in America and there was an NFL coach that was English from Essex or whatever, I'd be rooting for him. And if he did something miraculous, I would also be like going after everyone that didn't rate him. For sure. I get it. I totally get it. I just wonder whether or not he is tactically willing to embrace the flexibility that's needed, or if he's even capable. Because I think for most part in his career, he's got away with doing one version of football. I accidentally hit the striker. I meant a number 6. Data is skewed. You fucked up my poll, Rich. You absolute prick. Is that Australia? Is he still there? Billy, you coming back in? I'll take Pep if he wants to move to London. Mason's on his way to West Brom, says Godfrey. Yeah, that's nice, man. Like, it's about time he flew the nest, isn't it? It's about time. I back every manager, and Ange is the most successful. Simple. Okay. Most successful in the Europa League, least successful in the Premier League this season. We've never had a worse Premier League season than this. Right? So it's a tale of two courses, isn't it, mate? There's two different stories that run parallel, and people want to forget one and remember the other on both sides. But on both sides, people that are Ange out want to, forget the fact that he's, or dismiss or undermine or diminish. I get it. And I understand why Ange wants to tell everybody that he knows that everyone wants to diminish his. But like, I think he would have everyone forget the Premier League. And there was a lot of moving and manoeuvring of his words, mate. There's a lot of goalpost moving. As I said before, right? Last season he said a top 10 finish in a trophy wasn't a good season. This year he's suggesting what he did as unbelievable and unprecedented. Right? There's so many examples, and that's why I say it's not like the best part of his profile is his words. But once you lose faith in the words because you see that he says everything and then wants to remind you of the thing that he got right and forget all the other things that he got wrong, then you once you see through it, then everything then becomes opaque. And you're like, well, if that's the best thing about you and I don't really vibe with it anymore, then you lose, like I say, the brass loses its shine a little bit. It's just it's the way I feel. It's the way a lot of fans feel, but it's obviously not the way all fans feel. There's lots of fans that think that Ange Postecoglou is the guy. I just believe that most of the fans who think who are Ange in, most of them are not entirely full of conviction that he is the guy that's going to get us back up to 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, whatever, a very respectable challenge next year, and also be able to manage it in the Champions League. So I think that surely everyone can at least agree that there's relevant concerns around whether he's the right guy. If you think that there's no argument and that he 100% is the guy, then fair enough, to each their own. It's just not how I see. What's he said? Nobody will remember the 22 defeats. Well, but if we're 7 defeats out of 10 by September and we're already behind the 8 ball in the Champions League, out of the Super Cup, and 14th in the league, then he'll be sacked and we've ruined next season because there'll be no managers that can come in at that point that will be anything worth the risk. And I don't know. Look, for me, like I say, I'm okay with whatever the club decide. I just wish I hope the club have made their fucking mind up. If the club are still thinking about it, just like if the club are still thinking about what to do with Ben Davies, I hate that. Like, I hate that. It doesn't take a lot of work to, at some point in or before now, to have figured out, hey, what do we do if Tottenham win the cup with Ange? What do we do if Tottenham lose? What do we do with Ben Davies? He's out of contract in the summer. What do we do with, insert whatever there with Matisse Tell? Why do we have to get to the end of the season before we even think about these decisions? It just screams of like amateur hour. Again, I'm presuming that that's the case. Maybe everyone's just gone, okay, we know what we're doing. But everyone just have a little break for a week, and then we'll see you on the start of June when Vinny comes in, and then we'll put in play our contingency plans. But time has proven, history has proven that there is no plan B. There is people that they don't seem to know what they want to do until they have to make a decision on it, and that's a real fucking frustration. A real fucking frustration. Anyway, guys, I'm going to round off because I've been going for an hour and 40. Thank you very much for the super chat, Sanam Moose. HU Hulk Smash 88. I'll go and look at Mika Biereth. I'm also going to go and do some work on Nick Voltamade. So Dan, thank you very much for that. And Daniel Field, great to see you, buddy. And also Blaine, I love you, mate. Thank you very much for your help, for your support, and for the support of the channel, guys. If you last thing, if you haven't already, please smash the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you bright and early for walkies with Bugsy and whatever's going on in the world. Also, if you haven't yet, then over on Football Inc., there's a link in the description. Johnny and I are doing daily videos, daily streams now in the afternoon. About 3:00, we're doing everything else, everything in football, not just Tottenham. Tottenham is in there, but it's everything else as well. And I'm going to have to go and figure out what that whole Bitcoin story was about with PSG, because there might be a story there for Sean Butler TV, your football finance-centric channel. Guys, I'll leave it there. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you all, and stay happy. Bye.